All right, here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Reyes Reflection Podcast. I'm trying to bounce back on this Monday, as I think my guest is from Super Bowl Sunday, but I don't think that'll be too hard because my next guest is just a blast from the past. Every so often, I need to bring one of those on, so that way I can remind myself that despite the fact that I think I'm all that in a bag of chips, that I was at one point an awkward teen with a copious amount of zits. So enough about me because I think I can go on about myself for the whole show. For this special Valentine's Day episode, please welcome Darnell Kenney to the podcast. How we doing?
I'm doing great on this Monday. As you said, I'm trying to bounce back from the Super Bowl Sunday, especially after that Mary J. Blige perform. Okay, maybe not just Mary J. Blige, but Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Kendrick Lamar.
That was like I saw something that said if you were born between 1985 to 1995, that was your dream. So I was on cloud 9.
Yeah, I think it definitely catered to a whole lot of age groups, I will say. And it was just a blast from the past, like you said.
Just like you are. So I know we've been catching up for the last few days, and normally I start these episodes with, how's it going? What have you been up to? But since we've been catching up, excuse me, I know that what you've been busy with, and we're gonna talk more about that, about your business and all that stuff. But I wanna start us from the beginning, from when we were two prepubescent children in middle school. So let's start with that. Let's go ahead and take everyone on this journey of our friendship and how we started and stuff like that.
All right, come on for this ride.
All right. So, very beginning, 7th grade, that's when we started meeting, right? Is that
Sixth, seventh grade, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And some crazy times. Got in trouble because of you all the time, making me just giggle and laugh and I got too many detentions, and I had a hard time explaining that to my mom, that it was because of my friend making me laugh. She was like, you are accountable for your own actions.
I mean, period. Okay, you could have kept that laugh on silence if you needed to.
Oh, my goodness. Yep. You were always the one making me crack up, laugh, and all that good stuff. So,
I honestly think it was the teachers that did not know how to have fun. Y'all just don't know how to have fun. Y'all didn't want to laugh. So I'm gonna put the blame on them.
Your humor definitely could have made them laugh too. They just weren't with it, right?
Nope, not at all.
No. So we knew each other in middle school. That was some rough years for you, right? Trying to find who you were. Let's start with that.
Like you said, it was a rough few years. Trying to find out who I really was. I Middle school was the time where I came out. Middle school was the time where I was really trying to figure out what groups I wanted to be a part of. So, I did cross country, as you know, we both did cross country. And yeah, it was rough. It was rough. Experienced a little bit of bullying. And yeah, so I don't know where to start, honestly, but
well, you brought up that you came out
mm-hmm.
in middle school. So let's start with that. So you coming out in middle school, how was that for you as an individual? Obviously, you had your support system with your family, friends. Mm-hmm. I was still one of your friends back then, but I'm sure that there were some other friends who looked at you differently. So how was that all for you in an all-encompassing type of feel?
So it was actually a little easy to come out in middle school because I wasn't the one who came out or was able to express what I was coming out as. I'm sure you were in the lunchroom at the time this happened. I was in lunch recess detention, and Dania was the one who blurted out. Actually, was it Dania? Yeah, it was Dania. She was the one that blurted out that I was bisexual, and it just so happened. It was funny because I was just going to get lunch. This is when they brought us all down from lunch recess detention to grab our lunch and go back upstairs. And she saw me, and then she just blurted it out in front of the whole cafeteria.
Now, did you tell her that you were?
Yeah, it was like me, her, and Bethany, and like we would take trips to to Hot Topic. There were times where I just also spent after school with her. So she was a really good friend of mine, and confided that in her. But she felt that it was something to just promote on the news or something. So whatever.
That's middle school for you.
Okay, but honestly, though, I will say it did take a huge weight off my shoulder because at that point I was just like, well, yeah, there it is, folks. I am bisexual, and definitely felt I actually I don't want to say I lost a lot of friends because at the end of the day, then they weren't really my friends, but I will say that I lost a few folks in my life, but also gained a closer relationship to some folks. Coming out to my mom, that was interesting. It wasn't, I will say that my experience wasn't as bad as most folks, but it definitely was hard to approach that conversation. I had my sister paint my toenails, paint my nails, because that was also at that point. Okay, cool, great. The whole school knows I'm bisexual. So let me go ahead and start to really come into my own, really start to own that a little bit. So I asked my sister to paint my nails and paint my toenails. And I forgot to I removed my nail polish, but forgot my toenails. And my mom, she's always yelling about something. Even if she's just like, grab me the remote, she's screaming, go grab me the remote. Like, what's wrong with you? But she had me come out, do the dishes, and she just so happened in mid-sentence stopped, saw my toes, and was just like, what is this? And I was like, oh, nail polish. And she was like, all right, get it. Stop doing the dishes, go take a shower and go to bed. And I was like, okay. So I'm like, I take my shower, I get into bed, and it was just something that was just like bothering me. It was on my mind that whole time. And I was just like, I can't go to bed without really like opening up to her and letting her know. So it was in the middle of the night. She was up watching TV. She had her ice cream. This is what I love most about her. She always had a tub of ice cream just to eat at the middle of the night. And, I pretty much told her, I was like, Mom, yeah, I'm bisexual. And, just also because of our religion, that, she was basing it off of that. And I shouldn't say she was basing it off of that, but definitely there is a belief within being gay and stuff. And so I knew that she followed the Bible and she was very religious. And so that was what made it hard to come out to her. And she was like, well, you know what the Bible says, but I'll always love you. And I was just like, okay, thank you. And I was crying my eyes out, and she gave me a hug. But then the next morning, oh my gosh, the next morning, so she has this sister that she's just like, they're always like calling each other on the phone, going back and forth, laughing with each other. So I wake up and I hear my mom on the phone with her sister. Darnell says he's gay, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh, great. Like now, thank you for outing me. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it was, as I'm also sitting here telling the story, it's like, I had one person out me in front of the entire school, you know what I mean? And now I have another person who I really confided in outing me out to other folks. So it was just like, at this point, it was just like, who can I trust to open up to, really,
Right.
So yeah. And I will say later on that morning when my mom went to go pick up my aunt, and she got in the car and she was like, Darnell, you like dick? And I was just like, in my head, I was like, hell yeah, but like, I'm just like, but it was just also kind of like, one, I'm being judged. I'm being I feel embarrassed, you know what I mean? Because there are also now my brother and sister in the car, so now they know, you know what I mean? And like, my sister knew already, but my brother didn't. But it was just kind of like, again, that whole trust thing, like, who can I confide in and be able to, if I'm going through something, who can I come to? You know what I mean? And you guys aren't really setting that example for me. So yeah, so that's my story of coming out in my experience. But
has that ever been hard for you, of kind of feeling like you weren't able to? I mean, I'm sure everyone who you're close with now knows, and even people who you're not close with, I'm sure knows.
Mhm.
But was there ever a point in time in which you were like almost questioning yourself of like, wow, I never was able to just express it and be me because everyone else just said it, and like you said, like that's hard. You trusted these individuals, and obviously I'm sure there's forgiveness that has happened on your part, but I'm sure there was a point in time, especially in a very confusing time for you, where
Mhm.
you didn't have that, and now the trust that you thought you were that was established is no longer there. Am I wrong there, or
No, you're absolutely right. And I think too, like going into high school, that was another story. Like I personally did not, or verbally speak out that I was gay. You know what I mean? It was something where it's like, if you ask me, I'll let you know. But other than that, I'm sure someone's gonna tell you. You
right?
know? So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, obviously you're thriving right now, but there was a journey. So, high school, how was that for you? Obviously, like you said, some people knew, some people didn't. How was that for you?
That was honestly, it was very easy. Like I said, it was something that I wasn't completely open to, but like if you were to ask me, I'll be honest and let you know, yeah, I'm gay. It was just more like it also isn't something where I'm just gonna go out and create a musical and let you know that I'm gay, right? I'm not gonna come around and say I'm gay. It's just more so like this is me. This is me. And if you ask me, I will let you know. But other than that, period. As I said too, like in just like middle school, I experienced bullying in high school too, and it wasn't based off of being gay. It was just more so people projecting their frustration or anger on whatever it is. I don't know, but projecting that onto me. So, if anything, I felt more comfortable being gay because there was also the gay straight alliance that you had. There are other folks like me that were in high school or that were out in high school, so I felt a little bit more comfortable to the point where I was just like, it was just nothing that I wanted to even just promote anymore. It's just like, okay, this is who I am. You'll see it in my swish and my walk. You'll see it in my skinny jeans, right? You'll see it in the flick of my wrist. So, period.
Yeah, take it as you will.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So, high school seemed pretty seamless for you. Then you went off to school in New York, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I honestly college was something that was like a small thought, a small consideration. I just knew that I really wanted to be the first person in my immediate family to go off to college and graduate. And I had a teacher who was also the school director, and I had another teacher who was the show choir director, who honestly, I think they were like my guardian angels. They really were. I actually had a few teachers on my side that were really, really rooting for me. But one in particular, her name was Sharon. She came up and she was like, so it was in the middle of rehearsal, and she's this Jewish lady. Love her so much. She's like, so you think about college? And I was like, sure. She's like, I really think you should consider it. I was like, okay. So it was something. So when she had even planted that seed or that idea into my head, then I started to think more and more about it. I was like, it'll give me a chance to get out of Lowell. It'll give me a chance to really go after my dreams and pursue a career in acting and performing. So yeah. So by the time I was set in my decision, it was early applications were over and done with. So now there were applications um, for enrollment for the fall of 20. When did we graduate? 2012. So yeah. So then I applied for college. That was a whole journey in itself. Trying to figure out financial aid, get the right paperwork, and so really taking on the weight of feeling like I had to do it everything alone, right? So with all of that said, I made it through. I went off to college. I went to school on Staten Island. Um, and my decision, like my decision on where I wanted to go, I wanted to be in close proximity to a big city. I knew that I was a city girl, and pun intended. You know, you're familiar with City Girls, right?
No. Oh, like the movie.
No, the group, the singing group.
Oh, no, no, I don't know what that is.
Give them a listen. Ratchet, Miami, very, 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 yeah,
Okay.
very
Oh
that.
no, I'm
Anyway,
thinking of Showgirls. I'm thinking of
I don't know.
no, that's an old one.
Oh,
I just remember it was the first time I ever saw, I believe, NC-17 on a like as a rating,
okay.
and I'm just like, what the hell's this? I'm like, I've never heard of this, and sure enough, obviously as I got older, I realized it was worse than rated R, and
Oh, okay. Well,
so
yeah, no. I mean, this is a Ratchet group. Very, very good. City Girl. Anyway, I knew that I wanted to be close to the city, but also be in a small campus where where the community is small. You get that one-on-one attention from the professor, right? And so that's what led me to. And also, Wagner was the only school that gave me the most money, so that's why I chose to go there.
and what did you study there?
I studied theater performance. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a minor, but or a double major. I was like, I'm gonna stick to theater.
And theater performance, what does that entail? So when you did that, were you a part of productions? Were you a part of other projects outside in the local area? Like New York has a
Yeah,
lot of productions, so
yeah. So theater, so the theater program at Wagner, you got a little bit of everything, and that's why I think they were more than just a BFA. It was a BA, a bachelor's associate. Yeah, that's what it stands for. Rather than a bachelor of fine arts, right? So you got a little bit of everything. So I studied classes where I was required to take a musical theater dance class, right? Even if you're not a dancer, you're still required. I had to take a theater. Is it theater and speech? It was something where we had to like really focus on reading these plays and kind of getting to the pinpoint of the language of certain scripts and whatnot. So, script analysis, that's what it's called. So we had to take script analysis. We had to take musical theater performance, which that was one of my all-time favorite classes. We were required to do tech assignments, so we had to do a certain amount of backstage work. We had to take what did they call it? What was the class called? Um, um, I can't think of the name, but we had to do where we had to like work in the shop and help build sets.
oh,
And
that's cool.
yeah, it was actually really cool. You got a taste of everything, like literally everything. Um, I took and now I'm thinking about it, I was like, oh, I forgot I took that class. I took a design and tech class where we like really talked about lighting design and like how that can really enhance a show and all of that and why that's so important to the theater world. So yeah, you just got a little bit of everything. Staten Island did have a theater where you can go out and audition for the community theater there. Um, and there were also interns. There were also theater performers who also double majored and did arts administration. So they had an opportunity to work for um, theater companies out in the city. So it was really cool. At my senior year, we did like a senior showcase. So there was a class called Senior Showcase, and you brought in material in preparation for the showcase that they held at the end of the year. And then they would have agents come see the show and decide whether they wanted to sign you through their agency or book you for a certain gig, X, Y, and Z. So it was really cool. It was a beautiful experience. I got everything that I wanted to get out of it. I learned everything that I needed to learn. And yeah, it was, I will say Wagner was definitely, I went there for the experience. I got the experience that I wanted, and I don't regret my decision.
Good for you. Good for you. Did you
Thank
work
you.
on any ensembles or any productions?
Yeah, I was the star of the ensemble, if I do say so myself. Uh, um, yeah, no, I had a few lead roles. I had a lot of ensemble roles, which that time I learned that I actually really do like being in the ensemble. I love being in the spotlight, but the ensemble just gives you so much room to just play. And I think that's just something that we really need to start thinking about when we're approaching life is just how can we create more room to play, right? And really create what it is that we want to create in this story. So, I was always just like, out there. I was just very loud. I found ways to like stand out, what made me stood out from the rest of the ensemble, right? And in middle school where I was making you laugh and all of that, that got me into detention, but being loud and making people laugh in the ensemble got me more opportunities. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, what you believed was a distraction or you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. No, in theater, you can do this, you can do that, and that's going to give you more opportunities. So that's what I loved about being in the ensemble. And yeah, it was just, I just found opportunities to shine in that. And it honestly got me in more opportunities to be in more shows too. So,
What show did you do with the you did a show out there, right? In which you were naked, right?
oh yeah. So this was after graduation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was after graduation. It was a production called Naked Boy Singing. Exactly what it sounds like. It's six guys, six different tracks. All of us are naked on stage. It was an hour show, and it was the honestly the easiest $90 I have ever made doing a show. So yeah, it also even built confidence in that and being comfortable in my own skin, right? Like nobody is thinking about. I mean, maybe they are, but like ain't
what
nobody
was
thinking about.
what was the clientele like?
It was a bunch of like bachelorette parties. You had older like tourists. It was more so like Asian tourists coming that were like in the show, and it was just very like why why just this group, but whatever brought people into those seats. And then I also had older gay men in coming to see the show. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's really yeah, that's something. Yeah, look at that.
It was a very interesting group, like hey, whatever, I
You
was just
know,
out there living.
absolutely, cuz I think of myself, that's not my cup of tea, but that's somebody else's and you had it, but that's an experience for you in which you were like, look at this, like I never would have imagined something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And you loved it. It was awesome for you and that's all that matters. So, good for you.
it, I will say it helped me like not feel so ashamed to show a little skin here and there. Like now I can confidently wear a crop top and feel comfortable. I can wear booty shorts with a little bit of cheek hanging out, and not feel so terrible about it because I'm comfortable. I will even say I love when I had my first apartment last year, I'd walk around naked and not even care, right? My windows were wide open. I'd be like, oh, let me go ahead and throw on a towel because I was just so comfortable just, in my own skin. So yeah, it definitely built that level of confidence for me.
Good for you. Good for you. So, let's go into you working after college.
Mhm.
You did some obviously you did the Naked Boy singing. What else did you do after college for work?
I took the route most actors take. I worked at a restaurant. I actually was a server, then I became a bartender there. But I was not liking the restaurant business. I did not like it at all.
Was
Um,
this in New York still?
this was still in New York, yeah. So
Okay.
after graduation, actually even in my last semester of college, I started working for a restaurant, but then started to take on more hours once I graduated. But I also found and started working for a company called 305 Fitness, and I started off as a work study. And prior to that, I will say, so my last semester of college, I went to audition to be an instructor and didn't make it all the way through. But they did say, here's a barter credit, come take a class, and we do hope to see you in the future because we really do believe that you've got this, right? So I went to take a class, and they were actually promoting for what is it called, work study. So I was like, oh man, you know what, let me go ahead. In exchange for your hours, they were giving you free classes. So I was like, even though it wasn't paid, I was like, this is a free class. A class in New York is like $32, right? So I'm like, okay, so I'm saving $32 on these free and getting free classes. So I took advantage of that, did work study, and because of the environment that 305 was, or the space that it created, the atmosphere, the energy, the message behind it all, it was a place where I just wanted to be all the time. Like, so I took advantage. I picked up as many shifts as I could. I took classes all the time. Even if I could sneak into classes without even having any credits, I would sneak into those classes. But, again, I took advantage and went to audition a few months later and booked it. I became an instructor for 305 and was an instructor in studios for about 4 or 5 years. And so, yeah.
So 305, what's the origins of 305 Fitness?
Yeah, so 305 is a startup fitness company, boutique fitness, and the idea came from the founder, who was born and raised in Miami. I don't know if she was born in Miami, but I know she was raised in Miami. And she, there is a certain stigma around fitness, or this culture, or this there was this image this idea that you had to look a certain way, right? And she wanted to
This
like
still is.
break, and it still is, right? But she wanted to break that whole stereotype. And so she came up with this format, and this beautiful idea of loving yourself, right? No matter how big you are, no matter how small you are, right? Just really loving you for who you are, right? Feeling confident, letting go of that self judgment and judgment from others, and again, just really created this beautiful product that is accessible to anyone and everyone, right? So yeah, in studio you had like a live DJ, you had light shows, so it gave you this Miami nightclub feel. And what better way to go to a fitness class and then having like this whole nightclub experience, right? So yeah, it was honestly, hands down till this day, one of the best jobs that I've had in my entire career.
That's a vibe, yeah. When you
Yeah,
can go work out, but there's like dancing and it's a little bit more on the fun side and lax, and you're still
yeah,
working out, but there's not that pressure of, oh, I need to do this, I need to do
right,
this. Yeah.
yeah. And in the description, when we promote 305, we promote it as a dance party, right? And the reason why we do that is so that you know that you're walking into a party, right? You're going there to have fun. The workout's going to come second, right? It's a party disguised as it's a workout disguised as a dance party, because you're going there to have fun. The workout is just going to come along with it, right? So that's what I really loved. And also, personally, it allowed me to see, being an instructor, it allowed me to see how big of a leader I am, and how much of a confident leader I am, right? And it made me start to feel more comfortable in my own skin, and being a Black gay man in New York City, right? So through 305, I gained the confidence to wear booty shorts and walk around in the middle of summer in New York City, right? I gained the confidence to wear a crop top, right, or a mesh top, showing a little bit of skin here and there. I gained confidence wearing women's clothing and not feeling ashamed for it, or feeling judged by other people, So yeah, I really started to come into my own during that journey.
How was that for you? That experience for you in New York? Because obviously, there's some areas in the world that aren't as accepting of that. You were able to kind of come out and be, who you wanted to be in New York and embrace that. How was
Mhm.
that for you?
Honestly, it felt a little bit easier, really. Again, once I started to let go of judgment from others, it became a lot easier to um,
Like when you stop worrying about how others thought of you? Yeah.
it allowed me to stop judging myself
That should
too.
be the golden rule. The golden rule should be stop worrying about what other people think of you,
Okay, because
or a subsidiary of the golden rule.
at the end of the day, you are paving the way for so many others who want to do just exactly what you're doing. You know what I mean? So it's like I I don't know. I can't say that I started a whole trend of doing a certain thing, but what I will say is that once I started, for example, painting my nails, I started to see a lot more folks starting to paint their nails. And again, I'm not saying that I paved that way for them, but I saw that a lot of people felt comfortable doing that. You know what I mean? Um, same thing with like crop tops and booty shorts, right? I went in to 305 knowing that there were some guys who didn't wear the booty shorts, right? But along the way, I did start to see them progress into wearing booty shorts, right? Their shorts literally got shorter and shorter and shorter as the years went on, right? So it's kind of like, oh, okay, like um, you have that ability to allow people to feel comfortable just by being you.
You're a trailblazer. You're a trendsetter. Like
There you
you,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lead by
Um,
example.
there we go. Come on now. Lead by example.
That's
I'm
awesome. So
trying to figure
after
that.
305, what'd you do for that? What'd you do for work?
After 305, I went into, well, so during my journey of 305, I actually put performing on a pause just because I wanted to focus on that area of my life. And it wasn't until 2018, excuse me, 2019, when I was just like, you know what? Let me go ahead and check out the world of drag, right? So drag was really booming at this time, I feel. And I will say it started when I started Naked Boy Singing. There was always conversations about drag race, who they think will be winning, X, Y, and Z. And I was just not caught up with the time. I was just like, what's that? I don't. So I really wanted to be a part of the conversation. So I started to watch Drag Race a little bit here and there. But then there was a time where I had a couple folks, and it's so funny because it was like one day, and then the next day, one day somebody was asking me, "Oh, have you thought about doing drag?" And I was like, "No." They said, "Oh, okay. Well, your legs are nice. So what the hell? What's that got to do with drag?" And then the next day, somebody asked me the same exact question: Would have I ever considered doing drag? And I was just like, "No." Like what? So because of those two questions, it actually made me think like, why haven't I considered doing drag?
So now that you've done it, does legs have anything to do with it?
Baby, my legs are everything.
Are they?
Okay.
Okay.
Like especially when I put on them tights, these legs, they just give life. I'll tell you, they anyway. Uh,
You're like, I can go on a whole, they can go on a whole
okay.
world of their own right
I
now.
have I will say I have really nice legs. I will say that I've come to learn that I have really nice legs.
Love it.
That's
Love
just
it.
that. But yeah, it's like I also realized that because drag is whatever you want to make it out to be, right? Drag is another form of art, yeah. And as I said earlier, like I love being in the spotlight, right? I like, excuse me, I love being in the ensemble, but I also love being in the spotlight too, right? And I realized that after auditioning and whatnot, I started to be really hard on myself, beat myself up because I didn't get a certain role or I didn't fit a certain box. You know what I mean? And it was just like, I don't want to perform anymore, right? But I knew that wasn't the end all be all. In drag, because it's such an art form and you can make it however you want it to be. I've always talked about a one woman show. Here's my opportunity to create a one woman show just by doing drag. And so I started doing drag. I did my first drag brunch. I remember that moment leading up to the drag brunch. I was an hour late, let's say two, and
You were actually 2 hours late.
I was late. I was very late. I don't know if I would say two, but I definitely know that the show was over. And
Oh my goodness.
I listen, and I'm the type of person. Look, if I'm gonna commit to something, I'm gonna commit. I'm not gonna like back out last minute, or I'm not going to not show up. Right. So I still got all done. What I learned: shave the night before. Do not shop for last minute products the night before, right? And practice your face. Practice your face. So I tried doing, oh, and ask for support. So I was getting ready for the show that morning. I woke up at like maybe 7 a.m. I went in the shower. I started to shave, and I don't want to say I'm a hairy bastard, but I'm a hairy bastard. So, so that took some time. You know, I had to shave my legs. I had to get everything else done. Um, and then on top, I had to like glue my eyebrows down, apply a lot of makeup and stuff. So that it was a process that I just was not prepared for. And by the time I finished my look, I just looked like a walking zombie. So I was very hard on myself. Thank God I had a roommate who was just like, wipe her down. I'm gonna help you. We're gonna start all over. So he started all over, and that's what honestly took the longest. Was just we just had to start over.
Yeah.
Driving up to the venue, I could feel my heart pounding, and that's how I knew that this was for me because I I had so much butterflies in my stomach. Right, this is something new to me. This is something I've never done before. No one has seen me in drag, so like here we go. Minutes leading up, I walk out, I walk into the venue, and everyone's mouth is on the floor. They were like, oh my God, you look so beautiful, X, Y, and Z. So, really just filling up this big head of mine. So, you know, my head is already big. Please stop making it bigger by giving me all these compliments. You know what? Make it bigger. Let it fall over.
Go
Let it
ahead.
just,
You deserve it.
you know, so yeah, that's how that was my experience with drag was just like, or how I found my love for drag was just
Do you think that you're talented enough to make me look that good?
yeah.
Yeah. You pa- you you
As I
you
will
you
say, as
paused
I'm
for a
getting
second, so I'm a little worried there. You paused.
well, well, because what I will say is that I'm still working on my makeup and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm still trying to figure out. I'm getting better. I'm getting closer and closer to figuring out my own face, but I will say that I don't think I'm at a point where I can find someone else's shape on their face and make them look very pretty. I know what to do, but it's just like getting to know your face, right? So that will be it would be a challenge, but it's a challenge I'm ready to take on.
That kind of shows the art behind it because it really is an art. You have to kind of go with the facial structures or certain, you know, attributes to that individual,
Creating
specifically for
creating
that
yeah.
individual. So that just,
Yeah.
you just kind of, without even saying it, just express the art that it is. Yeah.
Finding the dimensions. I just learned that I had to like apply 3 different shades to really create a dimension. I'm like, wow, this really explains and does a lot to your face. So yeah,
Work in progress. Always learning, always growing. That's
yeah.
awesome. So you started doing drag. Has that translated into your, daily activities, your business? I know you started a business. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so it definitely has evolved into me wanting to start my own business, and this was an idea that started over the pandemic when we were all quarantining, and I named it the House of Cookie.
And is that your website too?
Yes, the house, houseofcookie.com. It's house spelled Haus. And there really is no like deep meaning behind why I spelt it that way, but I just do know that in ballroom culture, that's how you spell house. So,
And
so
Cookie is
yeah,
the moniker that you go with?
yes. So my drag name is Cookie Delight, Dlite. And just a little bit of backstory on that. Cookie comes from the character from Empire, if you've seen it. So played by Taraji P. Henson. Her character is definitely a character that inspires Cookie. So she is this. So know me, Darnell, as this sweet, genuine, kind-hearted person, right? But who is Darnell when the lights are out, right? Who is Darnell behind closed door, right? Or who is Darnell in a light that you haven't seen before, right? I'm a badass bitch, right? I'm all about my money. I'm all about my bag, right? I'm sassy. I'm very. I'm also a Sagittarius, so I definitely have like that fire entrepreneurial mindset behind.
You're a Sagittarius? I
Yeah,
am too. When's your birthday?
December 9th.
Oh, I'm November. Look at that.
So like, yeah. Wait, you're November 28th.
Getting there. Yep. Wow.
Kid.
Did you commit that to memory, or did you recently look at Facebook?
I commit that to memory, but also I will say that November 28th of this past year, I did see the notification on Facebook.
Okay, so a little bit of both, a combination of
A
both.
little bit of both, yeah.
All right, sorry,
Yeah.
got sidetracked there. So, yeah, House of Cookie, based off Cookie Lions.
Yeah, so House of Cookie, my drag persona, my drag name comes from the character Cookie Lion from Empire, and yeah, and then the word delight comes from just how I want people to feel when they experience a conversation with me, right? Or walk away from the experience of me performing, right? I want you to feel this sense of delight, right? Um, and then also, when you think of the word house, home, what do you think of?
Safety, love,
Safety. Mm-hmm.
security, warmth,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
affirmation. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those are all
Yeah.
that's,
Period.
yeah.
And for me, it also, it's all of what you said, and it also, there's family, right? There's fun, there's this sense of safe, like you said, safety, the safe space where I can come to and just like not feel judged at all, right? And so that's
Right.
what basically the House of Cookie is all about. Like when you enter my house, this is what you're gonna get. And when you think about it, a cookie is that same way, right? Sometimes people eat cookies because it makes them feel better, right? Some people like to eat cookies because if you're working out, it's a source of protein. I always
Or
say that.
you're me, and it's your guilty pleasure.
Okay, there we go. So like, so like, cookie is an essential part of living. That's what I always think of.
Yep.
And yeah, so I kind of am a little all over the place with the description of what the House of Cookie is, but basically that's where the idea came from, and that's what the House of Cookie is all about. And long long term or big picture, what you're going to get is different avenues, right? So I have experience in fitness. I have experience in performing. I have experience in life coaching, and or I have experience in life, right? So these are the things that you're going to get when you come to the House of Cookie, right? I want to offer different fitness classes for people to take. I want to offer different performance opportunities that I put together or that I produce, and I also want to offer a coaching business where people can come and see the successful, wonderful human being that they were created to be, and that there's more to life than just work, right? Or just being in this box.
Right.
So yeah.
No, that's really cool. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What flavor cookie would you say you are?
Baby, I'm a variety pack, okay? uh, and that's the whole idea.
Yep.
That's the whole idea.
You can
You're
go
gonna get
into every avenue.
yeah. Um, But if you're asking me like what my favorite cookie is, I would say it's an oatmeal raisin.
Really?
I'm an oatmeal raisin. Yeah, I'm an old soul.
All right. Yeah.
I'm
I
an
had a
old
debate with my brother about that not too long ago, how that really shouldn't be a cookie flavor, but that's okay. Still love you. Still love
oatmeal
you.
raisin. Yeah, yeah, we might have to scrap after this.
Yeah, I'm a chocolate chip guy.
Okay, listen, I love me a good chocolate chip cookie, especially the what do they call it? The super chunk.
Okay. For me, it has to be soft baked. Like I
Mm,
can't do the I crunch in and feel like I'm gonna chip a tooth. I
yeah.
have to be able to. Yeah, yeah. I know. See, I have a friend who doesn't believe that chocolate chip should be a cookie because he says there's so many factors. He's like, because 9 times out of 10 you hear somebody say something like it has to either be warmed, like you hear me saying it has to be soft baked. So he's
Mm.
like, there's always something with chocolate chip cookies. He's like, his favorite is oatmeal raisin, and he's like, oatmeal raisin, you could take it warm, cold, whatever. So
Yep,
yeah,
that is so true. That is so true.
yeah. All right, and then another question for you:
Yeah.
what would my drag name be?
Ooh,
I'm letting you use your creative juices right now.
okay. What would your drag drag name be? Okay. I would s- I would say I would say your drag what is this a peach color jacket you have on?
I'm actually wearing a pink Sherpa.
Pink? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
It's
So I
it's
would
laundry
say
day. Don't judge me.
what'd you say?
It's laundry day. Don't judge me. I was gonna come shirtless, but I had to throw something on.
Well, child, go ahead, take it off. Throw it back up in the washing machine. Anyway, never. I don't get my. I would say I would call you Pink Fry, Miss Pink Frye, even though
Miss.
it's Monday,
Oh, yeah, all right, all
but
right.
I'll call it Pink Frye.
I'll accept that. I like that. Is there any other projects you're working on other than your soon OnlyFans? I'm hoping.
uh,
No.
that's in the works. I'll say that. But
I surprised you with that. You didn't expect that.
I did not expect that. I didn't, but I'm glad you brought it up because that is something that I am looking forward for.
Are
So
you
stay
really? Are
tuned.
you really doing one?
Yeah, I
Okay.
am. I
Okay.
think
I completely was like just you know shooting in the dark there, but all right.
no, I honestly think that will bring in a good stream of income. So, but yeah, besides OnlyFans, I am looking to produce a show come this fall. And it's going to be called Cocktails with Cookie. So it's basically going to be, we'll have like a live DJ, we'll have performances by other drag queens, and it's just going to be a good old time. So,
And where will that be located for people to want to? When you get that up and running, obviously there's going to be some time, but when you get that up and running, where are you looking to kind of push that out?
uh, either New York, Atlanta, or virtually. Honestly, hopefully that's something that I can take on the road. That is the big goal, but for now, those are the three options.
So the dream is to be able to kind of it to be a show that you go city to city type of deal. Wow,
Traveling. Mm-hmm.
look at that. Those are some big aspirations. I like it.
Thank you.
Aspirations, Darnell.
Look at you. See, you already have your.
Look at
Come
that.
on, comedy queen.
There you go. All right. Well, Darnell, this was awesome, and it was a pleasure, and I appreciate you doing this. I love you. I love having you. Thank you for stopping by the Race Affection podcast. And as always, may you live, may you love, and may you thrive. Love you all.